All right, and finally, we have Jay coming up. He's going to be telling us something about DevOps. And we're going to find out.
Yeah, I'm going to find out too. Yeah, hi, my name is Jay Baker. I'm a site reliability engineer at Squid. We're based here in Chattanooga. Definitely after whenever the open table thing is, I'm going to be going to the Kubernetes session, so you guys should all go to that because I want to pick everyone's brain to get some good ideas. So what I'm going to talk about today is how to make Jenkins on Kubernetes more awesome. So sorry if you're not using Jenkins or Kubernetes, may not help you that much, but you should be using both of them if you can. How do I advance the slide? Is there this button here? Nice. Okay, so the first thing, a lot of organizations, I used to work for a consulting firm, BNL Consulting, before I started at Squid, and one of the things I noticed as organizations were adopting sort of DevOps methodologies and tooling, one of the first things a lot of places would get would be Jenkins, which is great. It's a great tool. This is very versatile. It really allows you to sort of fit into whatever your architecture and tooling is at your individual company. And then over time, as you evolve and get more and more tooling and better practices, better workflows, and your DevOps culture evolves, Jenkins tends to kind of languish in the background and not get the love and attention it deserves, just like any other part of your tooling. And plus, a lot of new stuff has come out since then. So it's definitely the case that a lot of times you'll find that Jenkins is languishing. I don't know if I can go back. Okay, good. Perfect. So when you've got Jenkins and you've got Kubernetes, usually what people do is they have, here's our amount of builds that we're going to do in a day. This is how many agents we need to do those builds. Because first of all, you should be doing your builds on Jenkins agents, formerly called Jenkins slaves, because you shouldn't do it on your master node. The only problem is, because it's running in Java, you're wasting a ton of RAM in your Kubernetes cluster running, we were running 10 Jenkins agents at Squid, and you just don't need all that RAM because most of the time they're just sitting there doing nothing, waiting for a job, and which is really a shame because when you have Kubernetes, you have a scheduler, you have a container scheduler. Why am I doing the scheduling for Jenkins when I have like a really great container scheduler right there for me? So really that's like the sort of the first push that I was going to try and improve Jenkins on Kubernetes, just to get rid of those agents. We don't need the agents until it's time to do a build, and we can let Kubernetes schedule when and where that build is going to take place within our cluster. Which, if you're cool, nice. If you want to adopt this, definitely just Google Jenkins Kubernetes. This GitHub page will come up. You want to get this plugin installed. It's pretty easy to get working with. And this is going to allow you to define a pod template for your Jenkins agents, which you can define the permissions, what image you're using, all that good stuff. And even better, you can have multiple pod templates, right? So every different development team can have their own pod template that has just the stuff that they need for their build. And in fact, you can do multiple pods, multiple containers for your particular build. So you could have a dynamic Selenium cluster if you needed for your Q&A testing. It's something I'm going to be working on with our QA team. Or just anything. And you can define those pod templates either on the server itself or as part of the pipeline script for that job. So it really gives you a lot of flexibility, and it can really help. One of the talks earlier was showing the different product teams. Each product team could have their own pod template that they maintain themselves in their Jenkins file in their repository. And plus, you don't need so much RAM in your cluster. You can have a smaller cluster. If you're running your Kubernetes on auto scaling groups, which you should be, then you need less resources. You only need those resources for that brief amount of time that those builds are taking place. Oh, nice, I finished early. That's all I had. I just wanted to recommend that you guys check out the Jenkins Kubernetes plugin so you can set up dynamic agents for yourselves. And if you have any questions about that, you can come see me during the Kubernetes open space chat thing. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Jay.